The Legion of the Betrayed are the last remnants of the Empire's standing army. Before Emperor Rennikos had died, he abolished the Empire's standing army and instituted a new law requiring the nobles of the Empire to have their own private armies. It was a popular law with the nobles as they got more power, and it was cheaper for the Emperor, who now didn't have to pay for the upkeep of the Empire's armies. But the Legion of the Betrayed detested this change. They loved the old traditions of the Empire, their standards, and their legion's history. To them, this new system was the reason why the Empire was being destroyed. Now, the Legion is a shadow of its former self. They have been left to find work as mercenaries for anyone who pays, working for both Imperial and foreign lords alike. The Hidden Hand are one of the many minor factions in the Calradian Empire. They are a criminal organization and they operate in the rural areas south of the Empire. By donating large payments of gold and helping to silence political enemies, they have allied themselves with many of the most powerful merchants and senators in the Empire. Many members of the Hidden Hand spend much of the year pretending to live a respectable life in cities as traders, with the knowledge that even if somebody finds out their goods are stolen, the authorities are paid well to look the other way. While not living in cities and being traders of stolen goods, they are often working as bandits actively stealing goods, or extorting locals under the guise of offering protection. The Aleftheroi, otherwise known as the Free People, are the descendants of runaway slaves and wanderers of the Empire. They have settled on the Khuzate frontier and over decades have begun to live very similar lives to the Khuzates. As time has passed, the Empire has found it increasingly useful to hire this ragtag group of soldiers for their knowledge of the frontier. Under the contracts of the Empire, the leaders of the Free People have become enormously wealthy and powerful. But even though this group now owes loyalty to the Empire, they often remain hostile towards the authority that the Empire has over them. The Embers of the Flame have been a prominent religious faction in the Empire for nearly a century. After the saintly teenage Emperor Darusos was killed and overthrown by one of his generals, the Embers of the Flame have rebelled against the Empire and have been extorting the local populace to survive. They claim to be waiting for heaven to resurrect Darusos and bring about a great cleansing of the land, which will bring the Empire into a new golden age. The Wolfskins are a warrior society with a long tradition in Britannia. Many of the most famous Battanian warlords and nobles have been a part of this society, where the members live like wolves. To be a member of the Wolfskin, you must wear no sewn clothes, eat no cooked food, and sleep under no roof. As long as you are a member of the Wolfskins, you are immune from being prosecuted by law. Unsurprisingly, it has become a common occurrence for Wolfskins to rob travelers and caravans, and to commit crimes which they cannot be charged for. The Skolderbrotva, or the Shield Brothers, are a highly skilled mercenary company with family ties to the Prince of Sturgia. To join the Shield Brothers, you need to be vouched for by an already existing member. This mercenary company takes melee training very seriously, and they have trained some of the best infantry that Calradia has to offer. Inside their camp, life is almost monastic. They allow no women within the encampment, allow no amusements such as gambling, and forbid any member of the company from spending the night outside of their encampment without special permission. On the marshes of the Great Northern Lake in Sturgia are the Lake Rats. The ranks are mostly made up of fugitives and criminals who would rather live as thieves than do honest work. They make their living from what they call wrecking, which is done by luring ships onto the shores with fake beacons and lighthouses. After they plunder the loot from the ship, they either kill or ransom the crew. The ships themselves are taken apart to construct their wooden shack housing. The Lake Rats are undoubtedly one of the most violent and lawless organizations in Calradia. The Sons of the Forest, or the Forest People, are a militarized, semi-nomadic group of farmers who practice slash and burn farming. The slash and burn method is extremely damaging to the land. It's done by burning down a portion of the forest and using the nutrient-rich soil to produce better harvests. This type of farming requires far less labor, but it makes the land useless after just a few years. Once the land is exhausted, they move on, and by burning in remote regions where their soldiers are able to withstand the local militias, they're able to get away with paying no tax on their illegally claimed land. The Jawal, or the Roamers, are Bedouin nomads that claim to be Azerai's protectors of the old ways, and they compose poems to mock the other clans of the Azerai who gave up the freedom of their tents for stone houses. The Jawal Confederacy claims a huge amount of the Nahassa Desert to be their territory, and they demand steep fines for any traveler or caravan passing through their lands. To most of the Azerai, they're considered more of a nuisance than the protectors of the old ways. The Gilman are a mercenary company from Azerai comprised of slave soldiers. In fact, you cannot even enter the service of the Gilman without first selling yourself into slavery. Despite being slaves, their members are often quite wealthy. They wear fine silk clothes, use exotic perfumes, and have expensive purebred horses. The Gilman are considered by most Calradians to be some of the finest cavalry around, but they truly excel as horse archers and are without doubt the best that you can find. The Beni Zalal are located in Azerai and are self-proclaimed keepers of the secret who watch from the shadows. They are certainly living up to their self-proclamation of watching from the shadows, as not much is known about the Beni Zalal. We know that their ranks are made up of soldiers from all walks of life, from slaves to nobles, but their purpose and goals are unknown to anyone outside of their organization. The Company of the Golden Boar is Vlandia's biggest mercenary company. Their ranks are mostly made up of levies who don't adjust well to civilian life. Their troops are undisciplined and violent, and as such they're a scourge to any of the countryside that they temporarily settle at. But they do have redeeming qualities. Their members are famously expert crossbowmen, and they hone their skills on a daily basis. They're also known for valuing their contracts and will never break a contract no matter how bad the odds may be. The Brotherhood of the Woods is a long-running rebel movement in Vlandia, where the peasants fled from villages and towns to the woods to rob from the rich and give to the poor. But like most rebel organizations, it has evolved over time due to desperation into making use of extortion, terror, and deals with corrupt officials to survive. Now, the Brotherhood of the Woods are little different than any other bandit group. The Karakuzates are a clan of Kuzates that are fiercely loyal to their old traditions and refuse to integrate into the new ways of life, no matter what security or riches submitting to a Khan might bring. To this clan, living in cities and castles would mean giving up their freedom. They would be forced to pay tributes and give up their best soldiers as levies to the Khan. Without anyone above them, they are free to raid, kidnap, and steal from the Empire or anywhere else that they see fit. So, now you know the lore and history behind the minor factions. Let me know, which minor faction is your favorite? As always, thanks for watching. I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.